everyone, I am back. It is Monday and I am working my booty off. We had a long 3-day weekend, so I've been able to work a lot more than I usually do, which is making me super happy. So I am working on these 7 fantasy babies, and I know I said I was going to do, maybe a couple of fairies and do some haunted circus, but I think I'm going to do all haunted circus, honestly, because I'm having a super lot of fun and I want to be able to do all the costuming at one time and not have to switch gears and do wings and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I think it's going to be just like a big, circus fest here. I ordered, what did I order? I ordered a bunch of tutus. I'm not going to put a tutu on every single baby, but I found a site that had them reasonably priced. I guess I could make them, but I just don't have the time. So this is Owen awake. I'm at this stage with the baby. They have had a lot of layers put on them already. They've had some flesh layers, they've had some shading layers, they've had some pink layers, some blushing layers, some creasing layers, and I started darkening up noses and lips and all that good stuff. And my son, I asked him for a paintbrush and he brought me this, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. Actually, not a bad idea. I'm giving it a bit of a flesh layer over the pinks. It's super thin. I mean, there's hardly any pigment in this flesh layer. It's not like that neutralizing layer that we made when I first started. Nothing like that. It's super thin. Barely there. If you do it too thick and you're putting a lighter color over a darker color like reds and blues, it can sometimes look powdery. At least that's how it seems to me. And I'm just putting those lip layers on slowly. And I want these noses red, but I don't want them too red. And this is way more red than I had planned to make them. But here we are, sometimes things want to be what they want to be. I'm just like pulling out all the fun stuff I've saved over years. All kinds of little trim and ribbon and lace and ruffles and just things that, you keep and you tell yourself, I'm going to need this someday. I'm going to be glad I saved this. I don't know, it's been like 20 years I've had it, and I thought, oh Lord, I need to get rid of this stuff. And I'm so glad I didn't. Now, if you've got hoarding issues, do not listen to me. Or if you're like me, when you go to the fabric store or to the craft store, you only need 1 or 2, but you think, I'll get an extra one just in case I make a mistake. And then you say, but they're on sale. Maybe I'll buy 4 or 5 of them because when will they be on sale again? And I can use them for other things. And then before you know it, you're buried in art supplies and stuff. And then when my project's over, I always save whatever's left over, thinking, I'll use that for something else. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I have these 4 containers that have over the years gotten bigger. Having it, I love opening them up and looking at all of it. It's an odd thing. I mean, I don't collect things in my life, like I don't have a baseball card collection. I don't collect dolls. I don't collect anything, but I do seem to have a weirdness for art supplies. When I was in art school, my major was sculpture, large-scale ceramic sculpture, and I had planned to be a installation artist, meaning I would do large installation pieces for like cities and buildings and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I thought that would be really cool. A lot to do with the person I was studying under. That was her job, and she just seemed like a magical person. Unfortunately, she is no longer alive. I was one of the last group of students to study with her. And sometimes when you study with someone who's really awesome and super inspirational, it kind of rubs off on you and you think, I want to be them when I grow up. And I'm not uninterested in that. I'd still like to do that maybe someday, but what happens is little by little you discover other mediums. And it doesn't happen with all creative people, but for me, I want to do everything. I don't think I've ever stuck to something this long. It's hard to explain. Like, I mean, how many people have painted a Joseph, and how many of these have I painted? And you'd think I'd get tired of it. I just have so much fun. And I'm just like, I woke up this morning, I said, oh, I can't wait to put their noses on. And then tomorrow I'll say, oh, I can't wait to start their makeup. Oh, I can't wait to make their clothes. I can't wait to take their pictures. You know, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. It just feels absolutely like playing. And I'm wondering if once it stops feeling like playing that I'll have to switch gears. I can't imagine it at this point. And also I just got back from vacation, so it's all fresh again. I actually missed painting while I was gone. So I just have a really, really thin red wash that I use. And I just want to set it aside and let some of that thinner evaporate a bit, and this will get a little more thick and syrupy. And I know when it's just the right yumminess for feet. And I will put that little saturated red sponge over here because that's going to add to the magic. Look, I'm telling you all my secrets. It sounds silly. We got like some crazy heat wave going on. Yesterday, I almost got the heater out because I was cold. And now today, I've got the fan on and I'm going, oh my goodness. Oh, and I'm going to share, I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I will. I actually, yesterday, went out to my garage to get something. And I felt like I was stepping on a Lego, and I don't know why I didn't react and pull my foot off, but I just kind of continued to take this step, thinking, oh, I need to pick up that Lego, and the pain intensified, and I went, oh my gosh, that's not a Lego, and I picked up my foot, and there was this crazy piece of curved glass that I had stepped on, and it was stuck in my foot, and I went, wow, and I thought I was just gonna like pull, if you're squeamish, fast forward. But I thought I was just gonna like, it was just stuck to my foot. I don't know what I was thinking, but when I went to go pull it out, stuck in there about, I would say almost an inch into the inside of my foot. Oh my goodness, that's all I can say. It was like right here on my foot, that tender little sensitive spot. I forgot I have another baby to put yumminess on, so I'll do that while I'm talking. Yeah, so that happens, and I get this excruciating pain. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm a little bit in shock, and I'm like, did that just really happen? And I kind of yell for somebody in the house. I don't know what I expected them to do. I mean, you know, I could walk to the kitchen. So I start walking to the kitchen, and I get a dish towel, and all I'm thinking of is that's really deep, and I don't know what was in it before it broke. And the garage floor isn't the tidiest, cleanest, sterile part of my house. And then I'm walking across the kitchen, oh my gosh. And so I got it super, you know, soapy with antibacterial dish soap, and wrung it out and slapped it on the bottom of my foot. And I just about flew through the ceiling. It hurt so bad. And I sat on a chair, and, you know, a couple of my family members came and said, what's going on? What's going on? I said, there was a piece of glass out there. And somebody said, oh no, I dropped a jar and I thought I got all the pieces. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. Tell me there was nothing weird in it, something that would be dangerous. And they're like, no, it was actually an empty jar. I was like, oh, that makes me feel better. And I did not want to take the cloth off of my foot because I was like, oh God, if it's really bad, I just don't think I can deal with it today. You know what I mean? I'm not squeamish, really, I'm not. And I can handle stuff. But when it's on me or when it's on one of my kids, I'm not real cool with that. I don't know what it is. It just freaks me out a little bit. And I didn't want to look because all I kept thinking is, oh, I hope it's not so bad. I do not want to go to the emergency room and get stitches. And now I'm not going to be able to run. And I'm just going through all of this craziness in my head because I'm weird like that. And finally I get the nerve to pull it off, and I don't see anything. And I thought, what? For goodness sake, I'm not even hurt. What a big baby. And all of a sudden, it just starts bubbling up blood. And I wipe it away, and I see that when I opened up my toes, when I had my foot like this, the cut was closed. I couldn't see it. But when I stretched out my toes, it opened wide open, and it was deep. And I went, damn, I'm going to have to go get at least a stitch. You know how sometimes you have, you know, surgery or you get hurt and they can glue your parts together instead of suture them? I thought maybe I have some crazy glue. Maybe I can just do that. I mean, I don't know. I voiced that out loud and everybody's like, no, oh no, don't do it. And I thought, I'm just going to pretend I'm on a deserted island and I don't have any supplies, and I'm going to have to work through this. What can I do? Because I certainly do not want to go to the emergency room. And it's not like it's so big that I'm going to bleed to death, or, I won't be able to use my foot, or it's not life-threatening. It was just a deep cut. So I irrigated it. That's not fun or pretty. And then I asked my son to go get my first aid kit. And I have, some cool stuff in there. Put some Neosporin in there, let it sit for a few minutes, and it was bleeding, so I just kept giving it pressure. And then I thought, I'm going to need to make a pressure bandage somehow. So put some gauze on, and I stretched some moleskin across it, and then I wrapped it with some elastic bandage. And I left it like that for a little while until I felt like the bleeding was gone. And then I cleaned it again and put a couple butterfly sutures on and a tegaderm, and it's healing up all by itself. So I didn't need to pay my deductible for the emergency room. Thank goodness. Several times when I was little, I got some deep cuts, and my mom would just kind of put mercurochrome, iodine on it. We never had Bactine. I wish we would have had Bactine growing up. Nothing to numb it up. She just kind of washed it out and told me to, deal. And then she'd just get like duct tape or whatever she had, and she'd pull that sucker together and keep it clean and dry until it healed. And I've got my fair share of scars from her kitchen surgery, but it works. It works. If I thought that, if any part of me thought that this was life-threatening or bad for me, or I would get sick or lose my foot, I would definitely go to the doctor. But it was one of those in-between places, like, if it doesn't stop bleeding, I'm going to have to go. But if I can make it stop and knit together and keep things clean and tidy, that's what I'm going to do. I'm about 99% certain I nicked my plantar fascia. I don't know if it's a ligament. Is that a ligament? It seems like it would be a ligament. The reason why I know is because I've had plantar fasciitis before, and that's what I feel now. I know that I didn't sever the tendon because it's not rolled up in there, and I can walk and move my toes and feet and stuff. But I cannot stand on that foot. Oh, it hurts. And I don't always go over babies like this. It's just that these babies are so deep pink and red, and their noses are so red. I want them a little bit more subtle. So I'm just toning it down, kind of like using finishing powder them a little bit. I love this hand. This is the Bountiful Baby Spice Sculpt, and she has the prettiest hands. I'm not a fan of her feet, but I love her face and her hands. And she has 3/4 arms, which I don't usually like. I mean, I like it because you get a little bit more posability, but I don't like that little muscly look. And you can't, do like a sleeveless shirt with a 3/4 baby. And I'm back on the damn diet train again. I get on, I fall off, I get back on again. But you know what? That's all you can do, right? Keep trying, keep trying. I know what my triggers are. I know what my bad habits and my addictions are. And I know how to do better. It's just doing better. And as women age, our body shapes change, and our nutritional needs change, and my mouth and my stomach keep thinking that I'm 14 and I can't keep a pound on me to save my life. And I just eat like that. I never get full. I eat like a growing teenager. But at this age, my body's metabolism is slowing down for whatever reasons. And it doesn't require as much food. And it certainly doesn't need cake and cupcakes and pie and cookies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to learn how to do things better. I don't want to look like a model. I don't want to be teeny weeny and fit into a dress. I don't have a wedding or a reunion or any of that stuff. I think I just want to be in the best physical shape I can be, so that as I age, I'm not plagued with things that come with that. You know, I think some things are inevitable, but I do know people who are much older than me, who are way more fit than me, and they look great and they have tons of energy. And I always say, what's the secret? And they always say, I drink a lot of water, I eat right, and I exercise every single day. It's just like brushing your teeth. It's just like taking a shower. It's just a part of life. And you, maybe the pleasure from eating yummy treats and a big fat dinner and stuff like that, maybe you trade that in for a little more longevity. And I mean, everybody wants to live a long time, but if those last 10 or 20 years are not being able to get up out of a chair or out of a bed, or depending on other people for your basic needs, I mean, that's hard. I'm a get up and go girl all day long, all day long. And I think that if the universe decides to slow me down, it's going to be hard for me. So, you know, if I don't have some kind of weird thing, or, you know, I don't get sick from my environment or have an accident, if, you know, if all the good things fall into place, I will probably live to be in my 90s. And I don't want my kids to take care of me. And I don't want to end up in a nursing home. And I don't want to be in a bed or a chair. But I met a woman in the grocery store, and she was wearing like little yoga pants and a little tiny yoga like tank, kind of like a bralette kind of thing. And she had long kind of dark hair with silver in it. I didn't see her face. I just saw her unloading her cart. And she's, you know, pretty thin. And I thought, well, there's a little yoga body for you. And then she looked up, and oh my goodness, she was a lot older than I expected. And she had those kind of like, you know, when people get a little bit older and they kind of get that kind of cataract look to their eyes, she kind of had that. And I said, you know, you are rocking the yoga pants there. And I said, look at that booty. She says, oh, honey, I do yoga twice a day. And she's telling me all the things she did. I said, can I ask you how old you are? And she said, yes, I'm 92. And I could have just dropped to the floor. I thought, oh my God, she's 92. She's doing yoga, and I can't even get outside and run twice a week. Oh, I felt so ashamed of myself. And I said, you're 92? She said, yes. And I said, you have great genetics. She said, I have great genetics, but I also work hard. And I said, oh my. I mean, some people at 92 can't even go to the grocery store with their son driving them there. You know, they're, my goodness. And here she was, I looked in her cart. I want to see, what does this woman eat? And her cart was full of fruits and vegetables. She had a bottle of wine. She had, I can't even remember what she had, but I remember it was all really like healthy, whole kinds of food. And I said, oh, and you're a healthy eater? She said, oh, I've been a healthy eater my whole life. And, you know, she was just doing that thing where she'd run into people like me before that said, tell me your secret, tell me your secret. And she was just like, let me have it. You need to have some time to be quiet and by yourself. You need to be active, find something you love. If it's yoga or dancing, you need to be outdoors and be in nature. Your body wants sun. Don't worry about the wrinkles. Just get some sun on your body. And she was just going on and on and on. And I just gave her the hugest hug. And I just said, oh, I'm just so happy I met you today. And so every time I get down on myself, I kind of remember her and I say, is that the kind of woman that you want to be when you're 92? Or do you want to be this kind of woman? And then I kind of envision when I was in nursing school and I worked in a memory unit or Alzheimer's unit. And some of those people were in their 70s and, you know, they couldn't walk or they couldn't remember or they couldn't feed themselves and they, you know, couldn't use the restroom. There's a lot of indignity in that disease and a lot of pain. It's horrific. But I just tell myself, and I understand that if you've got the genetic markers and that, you know, mutates or whatever, and you're going to get Alzheimer's, you're going to get it. But because I have that in my mind as a place to reference, I think, which kind of 90 do you want to be? And the only way to be this kind of 90 is to get yourself outside and to get yourself moving and to stay interested in the world and to stay aware and to have conversations and have young friends and old friends and new friends and build a tribe. I am not preaching like, woohoo, and I've done it and, you know, come to Jesus. It's not that kind of thing. It is just, I'm just trying. And I fail and I try again. That's where I'm at. Anyway, I'm gonna go put some babies in the oven, and I'll be back in a little bit.